Hello, how are you? I am just enjoying my cup of tea. My husband actually made this for me 4 hours ago and I just warmed it up in the microwave because that's the way that I roll. And now I'm having it and it's like the afternoon. Good times. So, in case you don't know, I think last week or maybe the week before, I shared that I'm going to be helping out a building owner with renovating essentially a whole apartment building, and I'm going to be coming up with some design recommendations for him, which I think is very cool. Now, as you might also know, this is something I never thought I would be doing just because I feel like I don't love the pressure of coming up with designs and meeting other people's design preferences, but I do feel like this is a cool opportunity because I can pick things from the ground up. So I can come up with recommendations from the floors to the wall colors to everything. So I'm very much so looking forward to this. Now, in that last episode that I mentioned, I did show you guys what the before of the apartment looks like, and it is not in a good state. I gave you a little tour, showed you all the nooks and crannies and things that need to be updated. And it's cool because he does want to like fully gut the whole thing on the interior of each unit, which is awesome. And in the last video, we also did go and get some design inspiration. We went to all the hardware stores, we saw all the options that I liked and that I was drawn to. And in my mind, I'm really trying to think about things that have like longevity to them, that are also affordable, that are also gonna make it so that people want to stay in the unit, want to stay in the building, and want to stay there for an extended period of time as opposed to just staying there for maybe a year. So I'm really just looking forward to this, and I think that the next step is going to be to come up with some actual designs. I think I'm gonna try and come up with like an ideal design based on what I think and what I would do. But then I will also come up with, I think, some options based on his specific preferences. So bear in mind, he might go more on the end of like what's his preference, but at least he'll be able to visualize what the different options are. So I guess I just gotta come up with some designs now. The first thing I think I'm just gonna tackle is the kitchen, because the kitchen, just in that one kitchen photograph, I can target a lot of the things that will carry out through the entire apartment, like the flooring, the wall color, hardwood color, and stuff like that. But hopefully it will be good. Let's get to designing, I think, with my laptop. And I'm curious to know, like let me know along the way what you would do based on the different options. Okay, let's go. So in case you wanted to know a little fact here, I have my laptop. I got these like little cork placemats, which I use to put my laptop on, and actually as actual placemats because I don't want to scratch my table. One of the things with like resin tabletops is that they do scratch. So I try and prevent that as best as I can, and this is what I've come up with. $4 from Dollarama. It's a pretty cute design, and it came with 4 little coasters. So yeah, if you, I don't know why you would need that, but in case you need it, like, it's a win. Back in the same spot with my laptop. Okay, so first and foremost, I think one of the worst things that I did was not get a proper picture of the first unit. So all I have to work off of is the unit that has all the stuff everywhere. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just like remove everything from everywhere that's there of the current tenant's personal belongings. It's a good thing to do, and just like magic, boom, everything's gone, which is awesome. So I think the first thing I want to do is actually lighten up the colors of the walls, because I feel like the wall color is just too dark right now. I know he wanted to keep more of like a beigey color, but I think a white color is gonna be perfect. So what we're gonna do is Pure White by Sherwin-Williams. He wants to also keep everything Sherwin-Williams for paint colors. So I think just even that really brightens up this space a lot. And that's a big priority. You want to make sure that in an enclosed space, because there's no windows around the kitchen, that it's so much brighter. So white walls, you guys know this. The pure white color is a very like neutral white tone that just has a hint of warmth. You just want to make sure that it's not like too stark, it's not blue tone, and it's not too warm, because otherwise it could pull a little yellowish or beigeish, which wouldn't be the best. The next thing I think is the floors. So one thing I haven't mentioned, maybe I should clear all the stuff that's behind here. Should I, or do you just enjoy this mess that's here? It's fine. So the next thing is the floors, and I feel like with the floors, he really wants to keep this specific type of flooring. It's called Allure Grip Strip by Traffic Master, and it's a really interesting product. It basically is a peel and stick product, but only has like the sticky parts on the very sides that interlock, and he wanted them because it's really easy to replace if they get damaged, and they're a vinyl floor. However, I feel like the color options aren't the best. So when I went to the store, I looked at all the different types of options, and I know he wanted to buy something that you could buy in store. So I just really fell in love with this one click flooring that was not adhesive. Now his concern with click flooring is that typically if you want to remove one panel of damaged click flooring, you have to like remove from the wall, like that's the easiest way to do it, versus with the one that he wanted, you can just peel up just one of them. However, I asked 3 or 4 different people at hardware stores that were in the flooring section whether like it's possible with the click flooring. They all said yes. Then I looked it up on YouTube, and it is indeed possible to remove one specific piece with like a specific way of cutting a triangle, slicing down the middle, pulling it in, cutting off some corners, putting it back in, hammering, glue, bada boom, bada bing. I am actually going to recommend, I think, this one specific color of vinyl click flooring. It's in the color Gold Coast, and I feel like it's just such a nice, warm, neutral color. Let me pull it for you. Hide the mess. But yeah, this is the floor color that is my favorite. It's just like a really nice, warm, oaky color. It's called Gold Coast. I feel like that speaks to the name. It's nice. So yeah, I'm gonna recommend this, and as you can see, it's just a click flooring. There's no adhesive. So we're gonna see if we can convince him, because when we go and meet him, I'm going to have to explain that it is possible and maybe send him some of the videos. So this is my first option I'm gonna recommend, and that's what it looks like on the floor. However, now if he is seriously opposed to this, I am gonna go ahead and mock up all the different reasonable kinds of like the peel and stick flooring that he wanted to use in the order that I think would be nice. So the first one I think is this color High Point Chestnut, because I feel like High Point Chestnut, at least it's on the warmer side. It's not like ashy and gray and cold. At least you want it to be like warmth, like have warmth in the place. For example, the color that's in here, it's not my favorite, but at least it's warm. So it has like a very nice homey vibe to it. Doesn't make it feel sterile and cold and not that nice. So I feel like that's the next one that I would like. Next to that would be this one called Pacific Pine. I think it has a lot of the warmth and niceness as well. However, when I actually go ahead and mock it up based on consumer images that have uploaded using this, I feel like it's a lot more rustic than I would like. So maybe that's not the best option. So I definitely like High Point Chestnut of the ones that like he picked. The next one that I think could be nice, it's more of a Scandinavian design, is this one. This is not one of the peel and stick ones. This is one of the other like click designs, but it's cool, right? What do you think? Obviously the pattern wouldn't repeat in this way, because this is like I took like an image of it and then replicated it, but I think that it also could look nice, more on the lighter side. I definitely think light floors is like the way to go. It makes the whole place brighter. And then for one more of the adhesive kind, there was this one. This is, I think, the only one that he initially pulled and gave as a sample to my sister. And it's just so green tone. It was like I saw it and it was the first thing I saw, and I thought, that looks really like green. It's funny because I couldn't really tell undertones very well before. but now I can tell them a lot with home decor stuff. So like green for sure immediately. So that's like my least favorite, but at least he has some options for things that he can consider. And by far, my favorite is gonna be the Gold Coast. So hopefully he goes with that, but hey, he might go with something else. Okay, so next, cabinets. These cabinets currently are cherry wood, and I seriously tried to figure out, he wanted to keep them, and I tried to figure out as best as I could to see how we could keep cherry cabinets while I was at the hardware stores looking around. I actually brought the cherry cabinet with me to the hardware stores to try and see like, could this go? I just don't think it's the best option. I like the fact that it's real wood. I like the fact that it's cherry, but I also think perhaps it would be better if it wasn't that red color. Like in my actual home, like my proper childhood home, we had cherry cabinets, but they weren't this red color. So this is obviously a stain as opposed to the natural color. It would be much too much work to sand it down. I just can't see it working. I feel like the best option is gonna be a white cabinet. I know that's just classic, people like it. Also because of where the kitchen's situated, it will be nice because it will be brighter. I do think though that a recessed shaker look looks good. I also think there's a different type of shaker look, which I will include on the screen maybe, that I also think would look really nice. So this is what it looks like with the white shaker cabinets, which I already think looks really good. For the handles, I think that he should update them. So the ones that he currently uses and like in his other buildings he's used are like these curved metal silver ones. I just don't love those. I think stainless steel is obviously really timeless as well, but I think one of the factors he wants to consider is keeping his black appliances. So I think especially if he's gonna do that, if he adds some pops of black around the kitchen, it'll feel more cohesive, in my opinion. So I definitely think that could be like a really good option. Just doing like the sleek angular design as well for the matte black hardware. And then above the cabinets, I want him to do something. So I think if this was my place, the best kind of kitchen cabinets go to the ceiling. It's very popular now, but it can be substantially more costly to do that. I think one of the hacks could be to fill in that area above the cabinets, frame it out with wood, cover it with drywall, paint it, and then trim the top. So I want to see what that will look like. And personally, I feel like that upgrades the space so much more. Like it looks so good. It's not the correct way. It's not the best way. It's not the way that would look the absolute nicest, but like in my opinion, it looks so much better than without it. Like without it, it just looks a little bit like eh. And then with it, it's like, oh, this is a nice kitchen. So that's what I would recommend there. Okay, so what is next? What is next? The countertops. For the counters, in my opinion, what he should do is a little bit more of a statement-y marble, a little bit bigger veining as opposed to the little veining. And then I think he should complement that with like a backsplash that is a little bit more dainty. For the countertops, based on what I saw, I know he wants like a laminate countertop. He doesn't want to do real marble. I think that's probably a cost thing because laminate's really affordable. Marble is really expensive. Of the countertops that I saw, there is a specific type of marble I thought was stunning. And then there's like a softer version of it that I also thought was nice. But I like the statement tier one. I just feel like, yeah, that looks so, that does it. That looks good. That's like very, you know, you can see more of the marbling. And I think that will be really nice. Then for the backsplash, I kind of was entertaining two different options for the backsplash. Have you seen backsplashes where like it's a slab backsplash that is a continuation of the countertop? Because I feel like one option that could be cool is having like another piece of the marble laminate going up the backsplash in a glossy kind of finish, and in that case it would look like real marble, it would look like a slab, it would have a really high-end finish. So when we add in the marble backsplash, I feel like it looks super cool. But I also want to see it with like a more neutrally backsplash because I don't know if he's going to want to take the marble backsplash up. So there was a stone backsplash that I thought was really, really nice, and it was like a hexagon stone, but really like a subtle shift. Let me show you. Oh, my husband's engagement ring is here. Wedding band, I mean. He must have taken it off while he was cooking. Okay. So this is the one see if it'll focus. It's a really soft, marbly stone. There's shifts of warmth. There's shifts of some gray. The white is a nice warm color as well. And I think that it's just really an elevated design that is also going to be timeless, because the focus isn't really on the fact that it's a hexagon. The focus, especially when it's graded, if it's graded in white, will just be like this shift of like marble stone, if that makes sense, as opposed to like a really sharp design. So I feel like between this and just taking marble up the backsplash, those two options are nice. But let's see what this will look like, because I have a feeling it will also look really nice. So, okay, I'm gonna move over there to work because I'm really warm, as we know. And there's construction, so I can't even open the window for air. That's okay. Okay, this is my next favorite little spot to work. Okay, so I feel like when I mock up the marble backsplash, by marble I meant mosaic, and this is what it looks like with the mosaic, the marble mosaic, and I like it. Do I like it more than the marble going up? See, I feel like if you pick stainless steel appliances and stuff like that, the marble going up the backsplash would also look really good, but I think if he's not gonna do stainless steel and he's gonna go with either black or white appliances, the mosaic looks better. I'm gonna leave that like that. In terms of the faucet, I might as well add that in right now as well. I feel like a black faucet will be really nice. I know that he doesn't want to do a sink that's like underlaid. Maybe just like a black faucet that comes out of a stainless steel sink would be fine. Okay, so what is next? The island. Okay, so for the island, there's two options. I'm really torn. Well, I'm not torn between it. There's one option I like that I want to mock up here. And it is like a waterfall edge, taking that same Formica marble and like doing a waterfall edge with it. I've seen it done. It's not like the most common thing to do, but if you do that in like a glossy finish, it looks really nice and it looks really high end. And I feel like that would be a good way of using laminate but making it high end. However, I know that that is like a more complicated thing to do for the building owner and for his contractors. So I don't know that he's gonna wanna do that. I also know that the edge of laminate, you need to be careful with edges that are like that, especially 90-degree edges. I'm still gonna mock up the design. So I just actually pulled in the typical like white shaker cabinet style, except I put it in the underneath part of the waterfall, and this is what it looks like pulling this same Formica laminate as a waterfall edge. I think it looks super cool. However, I'm not sure about it being white. On the inside, I feel like maybe some contrast would be nice. So I also mocked up beige. What do we think of this? This is like a beigey gray. And then I also want to see if it was gray and some stools just for fun. But to be honest, I feel like even more contrast could be better with a navy option. And that's the option I think I like the most. What do you think? Like I mentioned at the beginning, I do feel like he is also gonna want an option for the island that is not the waterfall edge. So we like the waterfall edge, don't we? But I feel like we need something else as well to be able to show him. So I'm going to mock up a more standard island with some different colors there. Here is a more standard island. Same stools though. This is the same navy color that I like the most in the waterfall edge design. However, I feel like if it's gonna go with this much color being visible, I feel like more of like a neutrally charcoal-y color would be better. So that is what I would recommend over the navy. The navy is just a little bit too colorful, and I think that this would be a better option like that. So just so you can like see and compare the difference between the waterfall option and then the traditional option, what do you think? Both of the island options can work, but the waterfall is just my favorite. So I want to address the appliances. He wants to keep the black appliances. That is what came with, that's what's in the building. Black obviously sucks light, so it would be better to have them as white. So I don't think it's the worst thing to keep the black, So just showing the difference between the two here. I don't think it's the worst thing. Just if you look at how much the black handles and everything, like if it does stay black, how much all the other like black little detailing kind of brings it together, it makes it kind of make sense. I have a feeling he'll want to keep the black appliances because that saves him quite a lot per unit, and because they are like perfectly usable. But if he does, at least we kind of cap some of the design elements that will make it so that it goes with the black. My number one recommendation though would be stainless steel, but I don't think he's going to do that, so I'm not even going to mock that up. The last thing here is actually lighting. I think he needs 2 sets of lights. I think for sure some pendant lights over the island would elevate the whole experience a lot. That's something a lot of units don't have that can really update the space. I feel like if he picks black pendant lights, it could look super, super good. I just picked these out from Home Depot, and I feel like just 2 pendant lights hanging over there, again, especially if he wants to keep like the black appliances, I feel like that will really tie it all back in, like it's pulling it back in together. Now the issue is, if he just has the lighting over the island, he's still gonna need like a main light. And for that, I feel like maybe just a track light could be fine. I also did see in some of his other apartment buildings that he's already renovated, he did use track lights, so I think he likes those, hence I'm gonna put that. Obviously there's nicer options. This kind of track light is only like $40, like it's not very expensive. So again, it's on the budget side, but it is black, it's sleek, it matches with the pendant lights, it matches with the other hardware. And again, just to show you with the appliances, because that is a design factor I want to really consider. It's like, make sure that it looks like things are intentional in the design. If the black appliances are there, it's intentional, and it's supposed to go with like the black track light, the black handles, the black pendant lights, the black faucet. It's not overpowering, but it's like intended to be there. So I think like, especially when you see it like that, it looks really good. And I think that's it. And just to show you guys what it looks like, okay, from the before to the after, dang, that's good. That's like night and day, a complete difference here. It went from like dated and old, and I don't know that I would wanna, I might not rent that unit, but it went from that to like something I would totally be 100% happy to live in. I think it's good. And even with like the black appliances, like if I look at the before and after with the black appliances, it just looks like you kept a design element but made it work and made it still look really like high end. So with this, I'm going to send an email to the building owner and ask him when he wants to meet, and then I will walk him through some of the designs and I will record it, and we will see what his reactions are. So, okay, I need to take a break now. On a complete side note, I really want to make pretzels from scratch. You know, like the big ones that are fluffy, kind of like the pretzel maker? So good. I want to make them. So if you have a recipe, please drop it down below. And if you want to see that, please let me know down below. And if you don't, please don't let me know that down below, okay?